is Angela from the website naturallivingalchemy.ca. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you an infusion recipe that you can use to help support your sleep. This simple infusion contains passion flower, lemon balm, and Damiana to help relax those tired nerves of yours and just help you drift off into a peaceful slumber. So let's jump right in and talk about the primary actions of concern for the plant allies that I've chosen today. And then I'm just going to share this recipe with you. Now, if you aren't familiar what I mean by the primary actions of concern, it's just, well, these are not all of the actions, the herbal actions that these plants perform within the body, but they're just the ones that we're concerned with as to why they're going in our sleep infusion today. Our first plant ally that I want to talk about is passion flower, or you might also know her as Passiflora incarnata. She has a taste that is sweet, and that's just going to be indicating that she contains something called mucilage. And that is a compound that helps build up the tissues in the body and just helps strengthen your constitution or your entire bodily system. So the actions that passion flower likes to do in the body is she works as a nervine sedative, just really calming those nerves and helping reduce stress throughout the entire body. Also works as a nervine hypnotic, and that is going to help induce sleep, and not only induce sleep, help induce a successful sleep. Maybe you find yourself waking up periodically throughout the night. This might be something that would help with that. And another action that we have is it works as a spasmolytic, and that is just helping ease muscular cramp or tension or spasm. Okay. And finally, passion flower has some anodyne properties, and that just means that she's helpful in easing those sensations of pain that you could be experiencing, and maybe that's why you're having a hard time sleeping. Energetically, passion flower is slightly cooling and drying. Drying because it is cooling, all right, which is just something interesting to keep in mind. Contraindications, I'm just going to ask that you maybe don't go to this plant ally if you're already using prescription sedatives, as they may not only the effects you may not be looking for, but it may also interfere with the absorption of those medications. All right. The ruling planet is Venus, and the ruling element is the air. Next, we want to talk about lemon balm, Melissa officinalis. Lemon balm has a taste that is sour, and the sour taste is just telling us that it's going to help just cool off that excessive heat within the system. It has an affinity and an action as a nervine sedative. And so there's going to be different classifications of nervines. So hypnotics, those are going to be stronger. Your sedatives, those are going to be more on the mild side of life. Okay. So although mild, still very, very powerfully calming on your entire nervous system. And lemon balm also works as a nootropic. And that means that it can help assist in elevating your cognitive functioning and just helping a scattered mind become more focused. Energetically, lemon balm is cooling, drying, and relaxing. And some contraindications would be if you have a hypothyroidism that you're experiencing, avoid this plant if you can. And also, if you are taking any other sedatives, I just would like you to avoid these herbs. And what I mean by sedatives is please don't drink this tea and then take sleeping pills. Okay. Just try the tea on its own and see if that helps you. And the ruling planet of lemon balm is Jupiter, and the ruling element is the air. And our final plant ally in our recipe today is some Damiana. It's a fun name, isn't it? And even by that Latin name, you can see one of the herbal actions that is generally thought of when you reach for Damiana, which is an aphrodisiac. But that's not quite what we're using for it today. So she has a taste that is sweet and bitter. And what's interesting is, and with any bitter herbs that I've found so far, the longer that you're going to let this infusion steep, the more bitter it has the potential to become. So if you find yourself very, very sensitive to the bitter taste, you can just avoid it altogether. Lemon balm and passion flower are going to be just beautiful infusions for you to make. This is just something else that you can add if you wanted to. So, some actions as to why we are using Damiana today is she works as a nervine tonic or tropha restorative. Okay. And that means that it is healing and restorative to the body, but specifically to the nervous system. And Damiana also works as a mild sedative. Energetically, she's warming, she's drying, she's tonifying. Some contraindications about when you would not want to use Damiana would be if you are on hypoglycemic medications or if you are somebody who is pregnant or breastfeeding. Okay, there's other herbs that you could reach for. This isn't going to be the one for that. Now, the ruling planet of Damiana is Venus, and the ruling element is the air. So as you can see, all of our plants that we are using today are ruled by the element of the air. And there is a very specific reason as to why I've chosen them for that purpose. But before I get into that, I just want to go over my little disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. None of what is on this channel is considered medical advice. It is simply here for education and entertainment purposes only. You want to be sure to consult your healthcare professionals before following any of my advice. Okay, so the element of air, what does that represent? Well, basically, air is the yang dynamic. It is the energetic, masculine quality of life. And we could say that it has energy moving up and out, like expansive, as opposed to energy moving down and in, which would be more feminine, which would be more receptive. Okay? So the quality of the element of air itself is hot and moist. So the symbol is the upward facing triangle with the line horizontally through the center. And it is also represented by the platonic solid, the octahedron. Okay? So the element is of the mind. It represents your intelligence and your knowledge. And it also strengthens your memory and helps bring order to thoughts, as well as embodies a changing and constantly moving volatile element. Okay, those are definitely things that we can notice about the element of air. So how this pertains to us right now is if you have an excess of air within your body, all right, that could create states of dryness, of coldness, and of tension. And generally, it's going to affect our nervous system, our lungs, makes sense, right? Lungs, air, okay? Our large intestine, and actually the overall movement of the body in general. But when the element of air is in balance within your body, you'll notice that your breath is just smooth and you have like an even, regular digestion. And your mind will be clear and focused and calm. And you're going to just be able to go move through your own rhythms. Okay. Apparently, I'm needing some help with the element of air, and I really feel this tea will help me later, kind of getting some of those scattered thoughts just in order. So, by incorporating air plants into our regimen, they're going to assist our body by shifting us from a sympathetic or fight or flight state to a parasympathetic or rest and digest state. I don't know if you know this or not, but rest and digest doesn't happen if your body is in fight or flight. It can't. Okay. Now I can go into that further on a different video if you want. Just comment down below and let me know if that's something you're interested in. Okay. And lastly, one thing that nourishes the element of air in your body, okay, is just sleep. You need sleep. You need quality sleep, and you need about 6 to 8 hours. None of this, I can function well off 4 hours of sleep. You probably can function, but how well is it? Is just a question I want to ask. There's specific processes that your body needs to undergo that can only happen in a rest and digest state of being. All right, so before we get to putting all of this together, if you are interested in working with the element of air directly, you can do so. I really like the processes in this book. Magical Symbols and Alphabets, A Practitioner's Guide to Spells, Rites, and History. Okay, but I'm just going to give you some ideas. You could work with it by just immersing yourself within the element. Go stand in the breeze. Listen to what messages just the breeze has for you. What does it want you to know? I bet it's something. You could go in a meditation. Now, you could remember how I said it's the upward facing triangle with the line through the middle. You can just bring that into your third eye, just in the forefront of your mind, and just imagine that symbol, and then let your meditation take you that way. You could also just work on concentrating on the octahedron symbol. That will do the same thing. Maybe you want to work with certain crystals. You can have sodalite, you can have quartz, you could have adventurine, and you could use moldavite, just to name a couple. Okay. Or lastly, another thing that you could do is just to allow the faculties of your own intuition guide you in the direction that this element is either already working with you or wanting to work with you. Okay, I hope that wasn't a little too woo. I just wanted to share that with you because I just think it's really interesting. And, how can I say this? I'm going to be so bold as to, you are the elements, okay? The element are you. So why wouldn't we just want to work with each other and just see what healing, okay? See what healing is wanting to come about, okay? So anyway, that's that. I want you to check out that description box below. So what you're going to find in there is a full written blog article that accompanies this post that goes into far more detail than what I've shared with you. And you can also grab a copy of this book if you want, and just some of these other things that will help you make this recipe for yourself. All right, so those were all of our ingredients and just a fun little way that you can work with one of the elements that is already so much part of your life. Okay, so what we're going to need is you're going to need something either like a tea press. You could also just use this by just mixing it all in a mason jar and using something like a fine mesh strainer to just take the herbs out later. But I just find this tea press is just a nice way to do it. Okay, so all you're going to do is just in your press or your jar, you're going to put 2 tablespoons of passion flower. You're going to put 2 tablespoons of lemon balm. And we are going to just be using half of a tablespoon of Damiana. Like, this is just an optional ingredient. I like kind of the balance that it gives from more of the sweet and the sour flavors of the other 2 ingredients. Okay, so we're just going to dump that all in together, and you're going to need 12 ounces of hot water. So I have just kind of warmed the water in my kettle to about 50 degrees. And then you're just going to pour this over top of your herbs. Okay. And then I just like to kind of put the lid over top. And then just push the herbs so they are simply below the water line. Okay. If you were mixing this just in a mason jar, I would just give the herbs a stir to make sure that they are fully incorporated within the water. And that's it. This is all you're going to do. You're going to let this now infuse for a minimum of 2 hours. And when you're ready, you're just going to strain the herbs and you're going to drink it up. And you're going to want to drink her about 45 minutes to 1 hour before you're ready to go to sleep. Okay. Or at least ready to start winding down, put yourself in bed, maybe read a good book instead of watching TV, because that actually does play a part in our ability to fall asleep and stay asleep. Okay. So you could definitely create this in the morning. Sometimes what I do like to do, if I haven't had a really good sleep and you just kind of wake up feeling like you're just cranky, you're tired, you almost want to go back to bed but can't, I like to start to put this together in the morning so she is just ready to go by the time evening rolls around. Or if I'm noticing kind of just feeling just low and like, just not quite myself. Like I just want to have a good quality sleep because that's going to help me. I like to sometimes make this around supper time. And then that'll still give me the 2 hours so that it can infuse. And then I can just drift off into a peaceful slumber. Now, the herbs that we've used today, I just want to mention, these are not necessarily herbs that are, they can help with your dream work, but these are not ones that are going to be specifically aimed at helping you do work within the dream state. That's a different recipe I can share with you. But this one is just to help you drift into a peaceful slumber and to stay there. Okay, so comment down below and just let me know, what ways do you like to support your sleeping habits? And be sure that you come back next week. I'm going to be sharing a recipe with you that you can use for a warming salve that is going to be helpful for achy muscles and creaky joints. And don't forget to hit that like button and maybe share this video with anybody else who you think might enjoy it, or at least benefit from learning how to make their own infusions for sleep. And maybe subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss the videos that I have plans on bringing you in the future. And I just really want to thank you for spending this time with me today, and may you find peace wherever you are.